This is Ron Ovitt, Executive Director of Empower Ministry, and I want to share with you about the spiritual gift of miracles. In 1 Corinthians 12:10, Paul writes, "To another miraculous powers," and in verse 28, God has appointed workers of miracles. According to Strong's dictionary, a miracle is a force or power, specifically miraculous power. This is similar to healing in that both are a result of supernatural. However, this is not having the gift of doing miracles, for only God has that power. Rather, a person with this gift has a deep sensitivity to God's will in a situation and a deep belief in God's ability to fulfill His will. They know where man's ability ends, God's supernatural ability takes over. They have a spiritual burden to trust God in a situation and ask Him to display His power for His glory. With this burden, they pray that God would perform a miracle for His glory. Now, what are some of the benefits? Well, God uses people in the church that have this gift to ask for His favor and blessing on the church. When difficulties come to the church and there seems no natural solution is available, God calls people with this gift to pray and trust Him so that His glory may inspire the rest of the believers. The result is a healthy church trusting and praising God for great things. There are some pitfalls. In Exodus 20, we see the account where the Israelites were in a new part of the wilderness. There was no water there, so they began to rebel against Moses and complain severely. Moses went to God to find out what to do, and God said to take the staff and speak over the rock and water will come out. However, when Moses went back to the people, they were complaining, and he vented and said, "Listen, you rebels, must we bring you water from this rock?" And then Moses raised his hand and he struck the rock twice with the staff, and water gushed out. Now Moses forgot that the power was God's, and in his anger said, "Must we bring you water from the rock?" He had become used to the miraculous and started to believe that he had something to do with it. He stole God's glory. Now David took for granted God's favor, and he became a complacent king. He stayed behind from battles and fell into deep temptation. Many of the prophets became bitter with disappointment when God did not answer the way they thought God should. Asking God for the supernatural can raise many temptations. We need to be careful of pride, exaggeration, false claims, impatience, taking the credit, jealousy, self-gain, or deep disappointment. Now, what are some ministry opportunities? Well, if the power of God were to be absent from the church, would we still function? Sadly to say, many churches would. How much do we really depend upon His power? We need to believe God for the supernatural. The gift of miracles gives support to pastors by praying for God's intervention and power to be manifested in the special needs of the church, congregation, and surrounding community. The result will be God's mighty works as encouragement to the believers and signs and wonders to those that don't believe. This can help create an atmosphere of worship, praise, and holiness. What is some further training you can do? A person with this gift needs to be a student of the Bible to encourage their faith. They need to examine how God has used this gift throughout biblical history. They can listen to messages, read books, and attend training classes. They can read biographies or be mentored by others with the gift. They can spend time in prayer and meditation, asking God to teach them more about this gift. They need to spend time with God, getting to know His heart so they can listen to His voice. God has gifted you with a purpose, and I trust that God will guide you and mature you in this spiritual gift of miracles as you seek to serve Him.